dub dub.
Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.
Da dooby dooby da dooby dooby dub dub.
Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.
Da dooby dooby da dooby dooby dub dub.
Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.
Da dooby dooby da dooby dooby dub dub.
Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.
Da dooby dooby da dooby dooby dub dub.
Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.
Da dooby dooby da dooby dooby dub dub.
Dun 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 dun.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. We have very active lifestyles. It's not all wandering the countryside aimlessly or scaring passing motorists. And we all love a good cup of joe. And there's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. Bold, robust, delicious. It's coffee that can wake the dead. With over a dozen different roasts and flavors, Deadly Grounds can satisfy the most finicky of coffee addicts. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
I'll turn it right back. Seemed like 24 seconds.
A little bit longer than that. We are now live for another episode of the Wicked Horror Show here on the Dorkening Podcast Network, and it's going to be a very, very fun show. We're talking about the movie Echoes of Fear, and with us today we have Kevin.
What's up, everybody?
Yo.
Hey, everybody.
Tony.
What is going on, people?
Patrick. Did we lose Patrick?
Greetings and salutations.
Took you long enough. Jeez. I'm here.
Okay, and back again. We haven't had you for a
There
while.
must be some kind of delay.
Yeah, there must be.
Yeah, Trista Robinson.
Hi, thanks for having me back, guys.
Always welcome. And then if I can get the camera to switch, Brian and Lo Avene Bradley.
Hi.
I have to ask the question. Did he say the name right? That's what I need to know. Did he say the last name correctly?
I think so.
All right. I'll let
Say
you
it
know.
again. Say it again.
Yeah.
Avene Bradley?
Yeah,
That's
that's
great.
great.
Yeah.
All right, Yo-Yo. Yo-Yo, jeez. Leo,
Wow.
you look so much
Trying to
alike.
make fun of Leo. And...
Yeah.
Okay,
But anyways,
actually, before we get into that, we have a huge number of people watching, and if you're interested in learning more about Echoes of Fear, check out the show notes down below or up above, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. Oh, and we got an echo. Yeah. I'm going to play the trailer right now, and then when we come back, we'll start the discussion.
Do you know why your grandfather died?
It was a heart attack. Do you believe in ghosts?
Sometimes. Late at night, when I'm by myself.
Do you think he was trying to find something buried here?
Maybe. Maybe he found it.
Real, huh?
There we are.
That's the longest 10 seconds ever. Anyways, so now that we can talk a little bit. So first off, I just want to welcome Trista back to the show. It's awesome to see you again. I'm glad that you're in something new that's awesome as well as the previous movie. We had you on for was it
Silent Retreat.
Silent Retreat. I was gonna say Don't Speak. And I'm like, isn't that a No Doubt song? But
It
Silent
was
Retreat,
the movie with the tongue.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking of. But yeah, and it was a really good time, and we got to meet you and Ace, and it was awesome, and we've had you on a couple times because of that. But now we have Echoes of Fear, and I was very, very pleased with this one. So congratulations on the movie, guys. I thought it was really cool.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
And I don't know, does the one of you guys, someone, Brian or Lo, or you know, do you want to maybe talk about the movie a little bit to like let people know what it's about?
Yeah, I mean, basically, we try to keep it spoiler free, but Trista Robinson plays Alyssa, and she's a character who moves into a house after her grandfather unexpectedly and suddenly dies. And she basically can't keep the house, and she has to sell it. But while she's there, she basically starts uncovering that something's been going on, and she has to kind of unravel his death and what it means. And then the movie kind of takes off and does many turns. And so we try to, with the trailer and the synopsis, not to give much away, so you can enjoy the film. It's a supernatural horror film, which goes in some unexpected directions.
Yeah. And this is like the second week in a row, I think, that there's been a movie that we've had on that may not necessarily start off being something that we think like, okay, this is going to surprise me or whatever, but then it does, you know, like I thought it was going to go a certain way and then it went a different way. I mean, even if it's just a little bit, like that's important, especially with horror, I think, because there's so much out there. There's so much of the same kind of movies that get made, and you have to keep it a little bit original in order to really stick out a little bit. But yeah, again, it's something that some of the twists I was like, okay, I can see this coming. Other ones I'm like, I had no idea it was going there. So that's pretty awesome. So congrats on that. But yeah, so what was the process with getting Trista involved? Like, is it something that have you guys worked with her in the past, or like how did that all come to be?
Yeah, Trista worked with us on our previous film called Malignant, and on Malignant she she had to be one of the victims, and she had to be. She had a very strong reaction, and in the movie, and we loved the potential that Trista had, and we thought, gosh, she's an amazing actress. She has this little role, and she would be amazing in in a bigger role where she can show what she can do. And so we worked on we actually had her in mind in the movie, in the script, and you can continue, I guess. We auditioned her, and we really wanted her to be the lead, but she didn't know, and we auditioned her, and she was amazing, and basically she ended up being Alyssa.
Yeah, it was. We're very happy that it worked out. We wrote it with her in mind, and we auditioned for it, her for it, and she definitely did what we thought she would be able to do for the role. So
yeah,
we were very lucky to have her.
And you killed it. I'm just saying, you killed it. It was great.
Thank you. How lucky am I? What a lucky actor. Doesn't every actor want this?
Yeah, I would assume so. Yeah. So you were saying, Lo, that maybe Trista was a little like apprehensive about doing it because it was like the lead, right? So Trista, were you apprehensive with it, or?
I don't know that I was apprehensive. I didn't, like they said, they didn't tell me that it was written with me in mind, so they just called me in to audition for it. They told me way later. But of course, when I got it, I was apprehensive, not just only because it's a lead, because fortunately I take every role that I get and treat it like it's a lead. And I started off doing smaller roles, and now I've been doing lead roles. But I always did the work that way. I was more apprehensive because it was such good material, and I was just nervous because it was an audition and I wanted it.
Yeah. Well,
and like in the character, we really wanted to find. I mean, we really wanted the character to start off as being, pretty. She's not too confident with herself. She's really quiet, petite, and so you get this first impression where maybe she can't really do things, but then the way the story goes, you start she starts learning about and confronting what's going on, and then her character takes a turn, and she becomes this very strong person. I really like the fact that there was a change in the character from this woman who's kind of ran by her boyfriend, and she doesn't have a voice, and she basically grows and becomes strong, and she becomes confident with herself. And that, to me, that was very important, and Trista definitely was able to do that arc.
And it was critical with Trista because she is the conduit for the audience, because the audience has to connect with her character and follow her, because as Alyssa learns things, as her character learns things, the audience learns. So it's very important that we had a lead actress that people feel a connection to and have empathy for, or the movie wouldn't work. So we were very, Trista just came on board and she did the homework and did an amazing job. So we were lucky to have her.
Yeah, it was great. I don't want to hog everything.
Well,
is there anyone else?
Actually, I just wanted to kick this off because you guys were talking previously before we recorded. There's a very unique inspiration to this movie. Did you want to go in a little bit about that and with the house?
Yeah. Basically, this house that we're in right here, we moved into it in 2010, and most of the stuff that happens in the first act of the movie actually happened in this house over the course of a year. And we were basically like jotting down these notes and all the events that happened, like the weird thing with the intercom and the pipes and the cat and the dark shade. And we were just trying to we were writing these things down. We actually did Malignant in between because we weren't really sure where the story went. what the rest of the story was. And then we came across 2 other true events, one of which happened in this area in the past, and another one happened in another country. And once we found those other 2 true events, we kind of like, there's a way of taking this and the real events that happened, and we slowly like realized how the puzzle pieces fit together and worked on the script from
Yeah,
there.
and add more layers to the script with the other 2 stories. But definitely at the beginning, we were spooked in the house, and we kept thinking, oh my gosh, maybe that would be cool in a movie, or so we would just write it down. I don't know. And then at some point, I said, well, we have a bunch of elements now.
Yeah.
You know?
The trick was figuring out how all those elements fit into a story.
I think one of the well, one of the things that kind of, I guess, sold it was that house itself. Like just even walking up to that, like walking down those, I've never seen anything like that. Like I don't know. I'm in New England, so we don't have stuff like that.
No, it's really, even here, I mean, even in LA, I mean, it is kind of a really strange design, because the house is not on top, the levels are not on top of each other, they're off. So it keeps on like moving. So sometimes there's just nothing underneath but a crawl space. So when we got the place, we had crawl spaces, and I was really scared by the crawl spaces. And we even had an inspector come in, and he missed one. Like there's just some that are just hidden, and then there are weird little spaces, and so there's one we didn't shoot in, but most of them we shot in them. They're interesting.
There's so many.
They're different format, different height. They're spooky.
I just want to say, if you need a house inspector in California, maybe avoid that guy.
Missing rooms and stuff.
Exactly.
We just left him down there. We just kind of like covered up the trap door, some boxes. We haven't checked on him in a while. So.
Chock full of spiders.
Well, if there's like hidden compartments at different levels, I mean, it's like, did you get the one over in the corner over there, or the one over there? But I mean,
did you check the glowing gateway by the fireplace?
Yeah. He goes into one and he just pops out of another one. It's like one of those bad TV things.
One arm over here, the other one.
What were you gonna say there, Tony?
Now I was gonna say. Now I know you brought up the question I was gonna ask is where did you get the? Because it does have there's horror movies out there with the paranormal or whatever aspect and everything. So it had a little bit, but then it had that extra thing, like Kevin was saying, how, nowadays there's so many movies have been made, but it needs that extra little, nuance of the difference. And this one had it. So my question got answered right before, but I enjoyed it fully. So.
Oh, thanks. Well, I feel like it's really important that at least, I don't know, for me, it's like from a story perspective, when we work on the story together and write the script, is like, I think it's important is that you're taking some inspiration from, what you're attracted to and what you want to do, but also some real life inspiration at some point, so you can be adding those original elements to it. I mean, we make horror films because we're really drawn to the genre, I think, because, at least for me, I'm kind of scared of the dark. So I get creeped out by stuff. So I'm always kind of like pulling in what scares me in my imagination and trying to work that into the story.
Well, speaking of realism, you hit one thing like super real to me that like had me jarred like right in the beginning. When Trista's character is after, I'm not going to spoil anything, but after the uncle passes away, and Trista, you're going into the house for the first time, and the shower curtain is still there on the floor. And that's one thing that, I lost somebody in the bathroom, and when we got back from the hospital, that's one thing that nobody ever thinks of. Nobody cleans up after that. You're responsible for cleaning up after, a tragic incident like that. And, just having that sort of like reality right there was just, it was just something you don't think about. That is just so jarring.
Yeah, that was a detail that we really wanted people to kind of. We didn't want to say, "Hey, look, it's still there's still some stuff," but we wanted people to notice. Like it wanted to be there, and not force it.
Well, it's like it also comes into play later in the story, and I think one of the reasons it came into play was like I was actually writing on one of the drafts of the script, trying to get it locked, and I heard this crash, and I'm like, and I was like alone, and I heard that because you were out shooting somewhere.
It's happened when I was there.
But I heard this huge crash, and I'm like, what the heck was that? So I'm like, it's at night, so I'm going to the house, and then I go in through the master bedroom, and then I'm approaching later on in the movie where you see the shower curtain in that position with the way it's laying and everything. It almost looks like a shape.
Oh, under the bathtub?
And that was like there in the bathtub. So I guess it had fallen for whatever reason in that shape. So I actually took an iPhone picture of that. So when we actually put it, and I wrote it into the script, and then when I took a picture of it, and when we shot that scene, I used the iPhone picture so I could place it exactly the way it had really fallen like months earlier when it really happened, because there was something so freaky about how it was laying there in the tub, because it almost looked like there could be something underneath it. It was just such a strange shape. And
it's weird too, because even like I haven't had that experience. Leo's had that experience, but that was one thing I noticed as well. Like as soon as you went in the house and you walk in that area, I'm like, oh, the shower curtain's still on the floor. Like, so even someone who's not even like looking for any, whatever, it's still, I mean, yeah, it's really smart. And there was just a lot of things about it that I thought were really cool. Like even like the trophies that they kept, I was like, wow, that's extra creepy. Like that box full of that is creepy. Like I was just like, oh, I'm gonna burn the house down. See it, toodaloo. I don't know. A lot of really interesting choices. Yeah. Sorry, Patrick. What?
I was gonna say. Plus, I think another motivation for shooting that scene and a couple of the other scenes that we see is, you got Trista to clean the house, so that's kind of like a win-win on your end.
That was.
But we're gonna shoot a scene in the garage. Make sure you get all the Christmas decorations. And,
I don't know about that crawl space there. I think that needs to be cleaned out a little bit.
The lawn looks a little dirty. Why don't you go mow it?
Yeah.
We'll film it.
Wax my car. Where are the cameras? Don't worry about it.
We'll have to think about this for the next script. We'll have to incorporate that.
This is exactly what it was like shooting.
Well, it's just like Karate Kid. It's like, oh, you're painting the fence and washing stuff. It's like, no, I'm teaching you acting techniques.
So what did I learn by hand washing all of your clothes? I don't understand.
Yeah. Just real quick, Josh just hopped on, says, I just came on. Is this movie released yet? Actually, it is out on VOD and it's coming out. It's coming out on Blu-ray.
The Horror Pack, it was put out by Horror Pack. So that's why, I knew about it. Actually, once you said it, I'm like, I saw it beforehand. I'm like, but Horror Pack put it out for anybody who's a Horror Pack subscriber. What was this? Number 41 out of their Horror Pack exclusives. So, and then they had a little behind the scenes stuff too. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, Horror Pack put out the early release of it to time out with the VOD digital release, but the public release of the Blu-ray is going to be in February. Horror Pack got the exclusive, so people with Horror Pack could actually see it ahead of time and see the extras. It's a little extra bonus.
Nice.
But yeah, we're excited for I think I watched your unboxing video, Tony, actually.
Yes.
I think I saw your unboxing video. I was like, you look familiar.
Yeah, I shared it on my Instagram. I was excited because, Horror Pack, they usually put out a whole bunch. That's why I love doing this show with all independent stuff, movies that most people, they're looking for stuff like this. They always clamor for movies that aren't the same thing. So especially with the, Horror Pack exclusives where, it's more, it's going to be a movie that isn't your mainstream kind of deal. So when I get my Horror Pack, I'm excited. But half the time I already have 95% of the movies. But
did you get to see the behind the scenes yet? Or?
I did, yeah, with the whole like tour and everything.
Yeah, you got to see
each other. Yeah, that I mean, we always talk about what we want, especially we want physical copies, but we also talk about behind the scenes kind of deal, commentaries or just behind the scenes, and you guys definitely hit on that one.
Yeah, we really wanted to, because I got my horror pack copy too. We really wanted to have like a really good original behind the scenes package. It wasn't like playing clips from the movie. It wasn't like a bunch of people being interviewed saying how great everyone else was. So we wanted to do something different. And Lo came up with the idea of shooting it all in night vision. Yeah. And doing a tour of the location so we could talk about the inspiration for the movie. But then it just kind of took on a life of its own. It turned into being a lot more than I thought it was going to be, which was awesome. And then everyone told their ghost stories at the end, which I really enjoyed that. Even being here when it was shot, it was exciting to hear everyone's ghost stories. So that was cool.
It was supposed to be fun.
I didn't expect it that long. It's like so much stuff kept happening.
Yeah.
And so many people came over for it. So it was pretty cool.
But then the movie can be seen also now on
all right. If someone doesn't want to see it on physical media, it's on the VOD digital sites like iTunes and Vimeo on Demand, DirecTV, Vudu, et cetera, all those places. So
yeah, and
so
actually,
buy a physical copy. Like,
I'm sorry, what was that?
Check it out, but then also buy a physical copy.
Oh yeah,
totally.
Miss out on cool things.
Check it out. Check it out. Fall in love with it. Then
Yeah.
order your physical copy in February.
Well, that's
the physical copy in February. Does that have the special features on it as well?
Yeah.
That's the
All
only.
right. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm gonna say I'm gonna have to rob Tony if not. But,
No, we
Sure.
put all of it on there, which includes like there's like 3 festival Q&As with Trista's in one of them, and we edited all 3 of them together so it wouldn't be redundant. And there's a special featurette on Lo that I put in there too. So between the festival thing, the Echoes in the Dark, and Lo's feature, I think is like everything's covered about the movie. So we actually didn't do the commentary because we kind of covered everything. So we're like, well, the commentary would be so redundant.
is that going to be like available in stores, or is it only going to be like totally online?
Yeah, we really wish we knew exactly
Yeah, we
where it's going to
don't
be.
know
I think it will be in some stores. It'll definitely be in the online retailers. I think it will be in some stores. We're waiting to hear back all the places it's going to be. We don't know yet.
We'll put the places on our website at echoesofear.com. We'll put everything up there and where people can.
Yeah, because the distributor's handling that. So it's actually the same people who do Horror Pack. They're moving into doing Blu-ray distribution beyond Horror Pack. So they're going to be doing it. So
nice.
Well, speaking of the website, if you're interested in learning more, I made it so simple for you. Just check the show notes down below or up above, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. And you have the links right there. So if you want to check it out, you can go on VOD right now and watch it tonight. Not now. Wait till after the show. And Angela is asking for Trista. Was there any scenes, Trista, that you were scared of more than any other scenes?
That's a really good question. The hardest part for me was working in the crawl spaces.
Oh,
I was going to ask about that. I couldn't imagine.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I was going to ask about that because I couldn't imagine trying to like film in such like a confined area like that.
Yeah, it was challenging for all of us. You know, it was hard with the camera because every time we moved, dust would go up in front of the camera, and we wore dust masks in between. And then, you know, just being sort of claustrophobic and creepy and having to do physical things. You know, there's a scene where the door slammed shut, and halfway through I was like, can I say that? I was like, the door slammed shut. But yeah, so I would say the crawl spaces were the most challenging, creepiest parts for me.
Yeah, I can imagine. I don't know. Like there's been a few movies that we've had on where they're in like really tight locations, and I'm like, if you want to see a 40-something-year-old man cry, just be in an environment.
I kind of do want to see that.
Yeah, you don't. It's not a handsome cry.
Do you suck your thumb in the middle of it?
No, not my thumb. Anyone else?
Oh,
Give me your thumb.
Yeah. Oh, I need a thumb. Help.
Well, actually, just to piggyback on that, before we get to you, Kevin. So speaking of Trista, we've had you on before. We absolutely love your acting, and just the way you portray the actual fear. I have some production shots right here, and it's just your acting is just amazing, and I think that's another reason why we absolutely love this movie. And like I said before, just check show notes down below or up above. And I'll bring it back to Kevin after the production shots are done, which are now.
And it's back to me, apparently. All right, cool. So,
Thank you.
So did this get? I know you said you did some like convention panels and stuff like that. Did you do like an actual like premiere of the movie? Was there a premiere in a theater anywhere?
Oh yeah. I mean, we had our festival premiere at Shriekfest in Los Angeles, and we premiered it there. And then we actually did a festival tour for over a year. It got 7 Best Horror Feature Awards at different festivals. And the audience response has been great at festivals, which is really rewarding for us because, I mean, we made it for horror fans. So it's really good if you can, diehard horror fans have seen everything. So if they can watch the movie in the festival and they like the movie and you could accomplish that, then you're like, yes. Because then the casual horror fan audience is going to drive them crazy. But if you can please the hardcore horror audience fan, that's to me is like cool. And we were able to see those reactions at the festivals. And actually, we're continuing festivals overseas. We're going to be at Horror on Sea in the UK on January 18th. We're playing there.
That's next Saturday.
Yeah, this coming Saturday. Yeah. So we're continuing probably a few more festivals overseas as well, even though we've already wrapped up the U.S. North American festivals. So.
Yeah, and then after the festival, we ended up doing a small theatrical release in smaller towns and in LA through TUG, where people can basically do their own screening. Anyone can do it. It's just getting the people to go to the theater, which is the hardest part because it has to be done so ahead of time.
Right.
But it's been awesome. Also getting a feel for what people like and getting the reaction from the audience. So we've really enjoyed that, doing the little theatrical and the festival.
Yeah, so that was last October, November. It was like in 7 different cities on these special event screenings, and then we did a week run in Pittsburgh, which made me really excited that we played Pittsburgh because of the whole Romero. Pittsburgh means a lot to me because Romero, and I think growing up in East Tennessee, it's like I always thought of Pittsburgh in my brain was almost like Hollywood because Romero was doing his movies there, and I just love Romero's movies so much. So playing a week in Pittsburgh made me pretty happy. That was cool.
Yeah.
So Trista, did you go to any of the?
Sorry, Kevin.
Did I go to any of the screenings? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I went to the LA local screenings, and then I went with Brian. I think Lo was out of town shooting to Phoenix, and that was a special screening because I had 2 films in that festival.
Oh wow! What was the other one?
Purgatory Road, which also came out this year.
Yep, I think didn't we had some people on for Purgatory Road?
We did.
That was a little while back.
Who?
I don't remember. We have too many shows.
I know.
I don't know. We had a handful of people on for that movie.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find
While you're
out.
looking at that,
Yeah,
Patrick was asking a question, but due to the delay, we cut each other off. So Patrick, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I apologize. I think my internet is awful. I'm fairly sure it is. But one of the things I was going to say that I really appreciated about this film is that, it was like Kevin was saying earlier, it's more of an intellectual dive into horror as opposed to, a film that maybe doesn't have as strong a plot or a strong direction or as strong as acting. So they rely on a lot of, gore and excessive boobs in order to kind of gloss over the fact and distract you from like, hey, our movie's not that great, but here's some boobs. Like, I appreciated that.
Yeah. I always appreciate that. I know it's a rarity, but I always appreciate that. I'm like there's some actresses that I know like are great, and I'm like they're like, oh, and then they do it like they do nudity, and I'm like, you didn't really have to though. Like you didn't have to.
I don't know, but to tell you the truth, on like the indie spectrum, there's a lot less of that.
Oh yeah,
because we've, you know, at that point in time, we talk to a lot of people that say if you want to put your movie out in like on a bigger scale, you have to hit every criteria. It seems like a lot of the people that go, you know, make their own movies, they don't use it as much, which is, you know, a testament to.
I think it was.
I mean, there is still some.
There's some up there that's like every movie. It's like, all right, cool. There's no story. Here you go. But it's not.
But I think I see it a lot less than
I hold those movies in a different like level. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like this movie. I like trauma movies. They're like schlock.
Well, it's a different kind of entertainment. It's like one you just go to watch the movie to be like, okay, I'm entertained. There's other movies you want to sit down and like actually really get into and enjoy. I mean, there's a place for both of them.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer in like all the horror subgenres. I mean, we just do horror movies, and everyone's like, we're not like one of those people like, oh, I'm doing a horror movie so I can hopefully one day not make horror movies. I mean, I just love making horror movies, and I think one of the reasons I love the genre is there's so many subgenres in horror.
Yeah.
I mean, of all the genres, I mean, if you do a Western, you're pretty locked in on what a Western is. You know, there's a little wiggle room, but you're gonna have a horse and a gun, and you know, you're kind of, you know. But I mean, for a genre to include everything from Friday the 13th Part 4 to Alien on a spaceship to like a supernatural, you know, ghost movie. I mean, it's like or a zombie movie. I mean, it's just like so many subgenres. That's why I love it. Monsters, creatures. And then within that, of course, you have your horror comedy. You have all those subgenres have like, are they serious or are they comedies? Are they wacky? And I love that. So I love a lot of different subgenres of horror, even though we kind of gravitate more towards supernatural horror in terms of making them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I love like the festival circuit, seeing like a bunch of different subgenres, like some of the ones that are really, really gory and intense. But hats off, I really, you know, enjoy the experience.
Right.
On them. And of course, the foreign horror scene is so strong. It's like
thanks to things like Shudder, like I'm seeing a lot of like foreign horror that I never knew existed. And
it's so good.
It's so good. Like it's so good. What'd you say, Parasite?
Like Parasite, yeah.
Parasite. And one that I listed on my my top 10 of the decade was there's not Terrifier, even though that's on there too, but Terrified, that's on Shudder. It's like a Spanish movie, and it's crazy, and I guess Del Toro's remaking it in America, but it's crazy. It's like they're gonna have to change a lot, because there's literally like most of the movie there's a corpse of a child sitting at a table the whole movie, and I'm like, I don't think they can do that in America. Just have a dead like no.
That's one of the reasons why foreign horror can really get you, is because they'll break a lot of the taboos we have in North America. They're maybe a little bit more fearless in breaking, depending on what country. Did you ever see Frame? The movie Frame from Spain? Okay. Well, that's like a really, it's a really interesting movie, but it is really intense. I mean, it's very gory, and there's some stuff, not only gory, but just the context of the gore. There's some really, really intense stuff in there. And I won't say I had the most pleasurable experience watching it, but I really tipped my hat to it, you know?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I really thought it was really effective.
Yeah, there's I think most of us have like a little like a stash of movies where like, oh, we're gonna gross each other out. Here's what you need to see. Like, you know, like it's not that gross, but just wait. And then you like wait to a certain moment, you're like, oh my god, yeah.
We got like a Serbian film.
Some
Human Centipede. And,
no, not even like Tokyo Gore Police and like stuff like that. It's just over the top, just ridiculous for the sake of being ridiculous.
You made me watch Headless.
Yeah, but that's different.
Yeah,
fun.
Different fun.
It's fun. I mean, a guy has his way with his mother's severed head in that movie. It's fun. That's based on a true story. You know, for charity. It was for charity.
For kids.
Raise money for kids. Yeah. It was for puppies. I don't know.
Make-A-Wish Foundation went way far.
Yeah, the wrong wish, guys. All right, I'm gonna shut up. Someone else can go.
That's...
I don't know how to follow that, to tell you the truth.
Could
Kinda
you
knocked
follow it?
whatever questions I had off before to now questions of what you watching. But
Sergio does want to say hello to everybody.
Who's that?
Sergio.
Sergio
Oh,
wants
Sergio.
he wants to say hello to everybody in the chat room here. And let's see, Angela had a comment. And of course, Trista, yes, crawl spaces are so compact and claustrophobic. Can't wait to watch this movie. And if you are just joining us, if you check the show notes down below or up above, got the links for everything there, all our guests, and also the website for Echoes of Fear. But I'm going to replay the trailer for everybody just joining us, and we'll be back in minute 23.
Do you know why your grandfather died?
It was a heart attack. Do you believe in ghosts?
Sometimes. Late at night, when I'm by myself.
Do you think he was trying to find something buried here?
Maybe. Maybe he found it.
Distribution name. Is it
I don't remember.
Film Spawn?
Maybe it's on.
I don't know.
I
I don't have the Blu-ray yet, or I can just look on the Blu-ray.
I don't know.
Well, we are back, and Tony, you were showing something while we were.
Yeah, while we were talking, throughout the show, Brian and Lo talked about it, the movie that they shot with Trista before, and it was Malignant. So this is another horror pack, exclusive that I guess kicked the whole thing off with having Trista join for this movie. So I think you should check out both, as I hold both up right there.
It's with Brad Dourif and Trista actually, acted. You were there. I mean, you guys acted together.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Tony, for doing that.
Yeah, well, like I said, we're here to, get everyone to watch movies that they're asking for. So, definitely check those two out when you get a chance. Do it right now, actually.
Can you get Malignant anywhere, or is that streaming, or is that?
Yeah, actually, Malignant, the film we did before Malignant, Dark Remains, which is another supernatural horror movie. Both those are actually now, because they've gone through their cycle, they're on Amazon Prime. So if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can watch both those.
Oh, nice.
Amazon Prime for free. So yeah, what is that?
I'll add that to my my queue.
Yeah. Speaking of other movies, I'm looking at Trista's IMDb, and is there any updates on Utero? I know a lot of people have been waiting for that.
No, I don't know that there will be updates on Utero. But thank you for asking. I think we had this conversation before.
I think we did.
And we're still waiting for updates.
Yeah, and Killer Babes and the Frightening Film Fiasco has quite the number of people in it.
Yeah, isn't that cool? You were just mentioning Terrifier, and Jenna's in that as well. I'm so excited about that one. I'm halfway through shooting, and then I'll go and finish the other half, and like you said, I'm shooting with Luminaries of Horror, so I couldn't be happier. And the first half of shooting went so well. I'm so excited about it.
Lisa Wilcox, Linnea Quigley, Debbie Rochon, Tristan Risk. Yeah.
Tristan Risk.
I know Tristan Risk from.
Yeah, she's been on a couple things, but the people that made the movie Headless with the mom fornicating head thing, she's done movies with them as well.
Harvest Lake.
Gotta bring that back up.
Well, technically, the association. She was also in what is it? Frankenstein Created Bikers. She was in that. Yeah. So so do you know those people?
So no, I don't, and I don't know Tristan. I'm a fan of the Saska's work, so I know of Tristan.
Okay, yep.
I haven't met her. She wasn't there on my first leg of shooting, but I'm excited to meet her when I finish the film.
Yeah. It's she's been in some cool stuff for sure. And it kind of goes all over the place. Like she's like super serious, and then it's like a really campy, like the Frankenstein Created Bikers. I think she plays like a Nazi in it or something. So it's like, it's totally out there. But she's fun.
Oh,
so
and
that should be good.
Jimmy Dempster also. We just had him on the show 2 months ago.
Nice.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Unfortunately, a lot of I didn't get to meet some people yet because we only did the first leg of shooting, but I'm excited to meet everyone. It's such a cool project. It's such a cool story.
Nice. Yeah, we'll definitely have to check that one out when it releases. Do you know, is it going to be so you pointed out like this one did like the festival circuit for like a year. That's one thing that it's awesome, but it's also like painful for people because like we hear about the movies and we want to see them, and it's just like there's no festival
Is it anywhere near us, and it's no.
Right. So is that the average thing that you guys do with your movies, Brandon?
Well, basically, I mean, like you guys were saying earlier, there's so many movies out there now that you really, on the independent side, you have to kind of do everything you can to kind of raise awareness. And doing the festivals is a way of exposing people to the movie. Hopefully they can talk about it and start spreading the word. And then you can, win some awards, hopefully, or get some good reviews going, festival reviews, to kind of build the movie up, not only to make people aware of the movie before it comes out, but also we used it to get our distribution. Because it was like we started the festivals, we didn't have a distributor yet. So through the festivals, we got our domestic distributor, both domestic distributors, because we have a separate VOD distributor than the Blu-ray, but we also got our international distributor, Jenga Films in the UK. We also got them to the festivals. I mean, I kept contacting them and said, hey, we won another award. And then finally, by the fourth one, because we got to 7, but by the fourth one, he actually started responding. And the funny thing is, he had actually distributed a film Trista had done before called The Human Race. I didn't even know that he had distributed it. So he watched the screener and he emailed me and said, hey, is that the lead from Human Race? And I'm like, well, yes, it is. Yes, it is the lead from Human Race. So, that was just a weird chain of events. You never know what's going to, lead to it. But he really liked the movie. But I think the fact that he also he really liked Trista in Human Race as well. So he was already aware of her as an actress. So I think that helped, eventually.
It's really helpful to get the attention from the distributors. It's really difficult. It's really hard. There's so many movies, and it's just people, it's like they watch barely anything. Like maybe they watch like 10 minutes or less. And then even to get to them, it's difficult. So the festival are a way to try to, get their attention.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can too. It's painful because we don't live in an area where there's.
And it's painful for us. I mean, we love the festival, but it is painful that we know we have to wait.
Well, it's
so
painful
long.
for us because that whole time we're waiting and promoting the movie, we're not really going on to the next movie. So, yes, in the ideal world, you would just do a festival premiere, you'd already have your distributor in place even before your festival premiere. You would do your festival premiere, and then the movie would be out a couple of months later. I mean, that would be the ideal world. Maybe one day we'll reach that level. We'll see. But I know Jenga Films. I mean, he's Julian Richards is a film. He's a firm believer in the festival circuit. He continues it even when the film comes out. He'll continue like having his films that he's made and selling through Jenga Films, continuing on the festival circuit, spreading the word of the movie. So, so it's just one avenue. I mean, that and reviews and getting people doing this, getting people to talk about the movie. I mean, that's really how people find out about it.
Yeah.
You don't have the marketing budget, unfortunately, to a bunch of ads or
Right. I mean, it's unfortunately we're past the time of going to like a video rental store and just seeing a cool cover and being like, oh, we're gonna get out. Now it's just like, all right, we have like 1 billion pages on Netflix, and let me skip past a bunch of things. And it's always hard to find like it used to be easier to find more indie stuff on places like Netflix, but not so much anymore. Now you got to go through like Amazon, and even still, like I know that they were pulling some stuff down because it wasn't meeting their criteria as far as like if there was too much nudity or whatever, they were pulling stuff down.
Well, our first 3 films came out when the video stores still existed, and we would like take different box covers that the distributor was thinking about using. We'd actually put it on the shelf to see how it would pop out. Like we were talking about Dark Remains earlier, and this was like this was the Canadian cover that they put out of Dark Remains, and I actually really like the Canadian cover better than what the U.S. distributor actually ended up doing, because it really pops really well. This is a great example of one that really popped really well on the video store shelf. It was great.
It was kind of fun because you'd like.
Yeah, you could see it there, and then someone might pick it up and go, "Hey, what is this about? There's some reviews and pictures. Maybe I'll rent it." Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah. And it's weird because there was definitely more time and money spent at a rental store than there is on Netflix, and I gave more things a chance at rental stores.
Well, the thing also in stores, you had a chance. You had a chance to be seen. The problem now is like, let's say you go to Amazon and you do a search like horror and supernatural, but a lot of time, people basically get different placement based on the budget of the movie, and there's money involved, and it depends on how many. If you've been screenings in so many cities for that period of time, you get the prime spot. So there are a lot of movies that might be pretty awesome, but you just don't know because you can't even see them. You can't even see their poster, or like, what is this about?
I mean, there's a lot of films I became aware of by going to festivals I got to go to, or seeing what other films were playing at the festival that our film was in. I don't know if I would have been aware of those movies had it not been for the festival.
Right.
Because all these places the movie's available, it's still hard to find unless you type in the name of the movie. But then how would you know the name of the movie to type it in? So it's like, it's a little catch-22 now. And I think it's still trying to figure that how that works now with indie. It's different. I haven't quite. I don't.
It's difficult, definitely, for indie filmmakers to do it, unless they have a bigger distribution. But for smaller indie films, it's hard. It's definitely hard.
Well, definitely that's where word of mouth comes into play, and getting
like this.
Exactly.
That's what we're trying to do. Word of mouth.
Yeah. Angela is saying, asking, hey Leo, can you get the movies from Redbox instead of Amazon? Do you know if it's available through Redbox?
We don't know yet because, Redbox online, we're not there, but the Redbox physical, we don't know yet because we don't know when it's going, where it's going to be yet in February. Yeah. They haven't told us.
Yeah. I don't think they know yet about Redbox. I mean, that's a lot of the places now that take the films. It's a case by case basis what they're going to take. Redbox is particularly hard to get into. It's coveted to get into Redbox.
Yeah. I thought I heard that was kind of fading away a bit too.
It is fading away a bit. They're not. I mean, I don't want to go into the business side. I don't want to go into the business side of things, but nothing pays what it used to pay anymore. I mean, since we've started making movies till today, it's just been like it's been reverse inflation. Everything's just been going down.
It's weird too because there's a couple of like actors and actresses we know that like were involved in a movie that was made specifically to go into a Redbox. They're like, oh, we just did this for money. It was just made to go into Redbox, and it's like we did that so we could pay for the next movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, all right, but
well,
so,
they
yeah.
had to have a person and deal in place beforehand, which you used to be able to do that more. But everything's shrinking. It's very difficult. I mean, I think what everyone's coveted goal now is to try to get on Netflix and Amazon, Hulu, or Shudder. I think things are going more towards that. But the reality is the streamers, it's difficult to get picked up by them too, because a lot of them do their own original content and they're more focused on that than picking up indie films. Yeah. And I know when we first went to Netflix, when it first came out, well, we started out when it was disc, but when it first came on, the online version of Netflix, there were so many great indie films and indie horror films and so many great foreign films, but that's all shrank now. Focuses on the original content.
Right,
and that's why I go physical media.
Yeah, there's that, and that's why I mean, I really like Shudder, even though that's it looks like it's not a big company. It is. It's owned by AMC, but it's but still, they definitely are paying a little bit more respect to the independent and foreign horror for sure. For now,
And you mentioned
what's up?
Oh no, I was gonna say you mentioned Netflix disc. That's still around as well.
Oh, we still have it.
Yeah.
We still get we've added on. We still get the Blu-rays because there's a lot of Blu-rays that I don't know if I want to buy a Blu-ray until I've seen the movie. So we're on that subscription service so we can check out Blu-rays because I love watching Blu-rays.
Yeah,
that's why.
Yeah, I don't know, the picture quality is amazing and I love it.
But it seems, especially I transitioned. I used to say I'm never going to get a Blu-ray, and now everything that's behind me is Blu-ray. But it seems like a lot more. We were talking about special features. It seems like you could fit a lot more on Blu-rays and stuff.
Right.
So it seems a little bit more, practical and stuff. Plus the size, I'm running out of room. But if I have a Blu-ray, it's a little bit smaller than the DVD. I'm getting way too deep into it. But,
I was going to say that it looks like Tony and Kevin, we could go to your place and it is a video store. You have your own video store. It's right there.
Not at all. But the shelving on the place I used to buy movies from called Newbury Comics, and there was one in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts, and this is actually shelving from Newbury Comics because I'm like, they're going out of business. I'm buying a shelf, so I bought movies off of anyways. So but it was just my last grasp at my love of Newbury Comics. Because that legit, that one had been there since the 90s, and they went out. But there's still some locations open. But I don't know. I think you're just full of it, Tony. It's not that much smaller space wise.
Look, Tony has 2 of our movies in his video store.
I know that.
That's right. It's a great video store to get our movies. So I highly recommend Tony. Tony.
I agree too, but one thing that we're noticing a lot lately as well is that some of the independents that are getting some distribution, they're not getting Blu-ray releases; they're only getting DVD releases. That is cheaper,
Too bad because it's not their choice.
Right.
To distribute it. You don't want to incur the cost of it.
Right, but still, I mean, I still want to support those filmmakers as well. So.
Oh no, of course. I mean, it's not their doing.
Right. Yeah, they had a choice. Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. I know it's past that time, so we should probably wrap things.
It is.
It's so quick.
Well, I want to thank you all for coming on this evening, and just want to remind everybody, if you haven't heard, we're talking about Echoes of Fear. There's a ton of information down below or up above. If you go to the website, it has all the lists for all the VOD options available, and it's coming out on Blu-ray soon. Or if you have a horror pack, you probably already picked it up, like Tony has right there. So we will kick it off with Brian and Lo. Where do you like people following you, and any last words that you have?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think the best way to follow us is probably just to go to the Echoes of Fear on Facebook. If you just type in Echoes of Fear, or type it in Instagram, or type our name in on there, it'll come up. And the next thing for us is we're finishing an illustrated horror novella, which is very different for us. This is a very wacky, creature horror stories, a very different horror subgenre. But you have the pictures if you want. But it's each page is a color illustration with a corresponding text that goes with it. So we're going to finish it up this year, and maybe it'll even come out this year. But we're excited about it. So that's the next thing for us.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Trista.
Oh, my turn.
Yeah, the awesome Trista.
So I thank you guys so much for having me back on. I always love seeing your faces and spending time with you, and this was really fun. I want to say that I've flipped through Innards, and it is really special, and Lo sort of applies her lighting skills as a DP to the illustrations, and it's very unique, and I'm excited about it as well. You can find me Trista Robinson on Facebook or Twitter, and then I have some other films that I'm shooting, but if you want to see some of my stuff that's available, you can check out Purgatory Road or The Human Race. They're both on Amazon Prime, and then yeah, please check out Echoes of Fear, of course.
Yes.
Very cool. Sir Patrick.
Oh, the easiest thing is throwdownthursdaypodcast.com. That'll have all my latest articles, all the latest episodes of not only Throwdown Thursday, but also Shark Bites. And coming up, we'll be having a nice interview with Brian and Lo and Trista, because we chatted a little bit before the show this evening. So we've got that look forward to. Also, you can find all of my social media stuff, as well as Ash's, my wife Ash's Von Nightmare, all of her stuff. So keep an eye out there, because I have a major announcement of something. Leo, you know about it, but we're keeping it under our hats a little bit, because I have a huge announcement that comes out later this year. So I'm very excited.
Cool.
Cool.
You had me guessing there for a second, but I just remembered it. So I can keep a secret well. Tony.
You can find me at Tony Has Nine Fingers on YouTube, where I do movie reviews and unboxings and stuff. Tony Has Nine Fingers on Twitter. Tony's Movies on Instagram, where I show off the movies behind me. And of course, here on The Dorkening every Tuesday. Yo.
You can find me at Boy Meets Phone on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Also, Yo Saint Laurent on those same social media channels. And you can find me here most Tuesdays when I'm not stuck at work.
Kevin.
Ain't Uncle on Twitter and Instagram. Every Sunday, The Dorkening, Tuesday, Wicked Horror Shows. Doing a sit down with the 13th Wolfman. Not the sit down. What am I talking about? The sit down. Doing the reviews with the 13th Wolfman. Sit down was the old thing. And then I'm also part of Secret Underground Hideout and Black and White Fright. And I think that's it. Leo?
When are you going to start a TikTok so you can add it to your rundown?
I don't want to. I have a TikTok. I do nothing with it because have you gone on TikTok?
I've seen little bits and pieces, and it's utterly idiotic.
It's dangerous. It's very dangerous.
Yeah. There's a totally off topic, and I'm sorry, but Christina Pajinski, she's a stand-up comic. She's married to Tom Segura. She has a podcast called Your Mom's House, and they play TikToks, and she got me hooked on TikTok. She's like, she just finds the craziest people on this thing, and I'm like, all right, now I have to go on TikTok.
Well, it's like an updated version of Vine, and you used to have Vine.
Yeah, but it's crazier.
Oh, okay.
Crazier, and it's
Huh?
Was that Patrick?
Said just do one of you crying in a crawl space.
Like crying in a crawl space? Yeah. Just over and over in a loop of me crying in a crawl space.
Yeah. It's crazier, and it's owned by China, so they're sucking down all your data and spying on you.
Everything's owned by China. What are you talking about?
Well, no, I mean, this is actually, yeah.
Who made that microphone that you're talking into, sir?
Well,
don't check. I'm gonna check live on the internet. Who made this microphone?
Yeah. Okay, and for me, just Google Leo Pond. You'll find a bunch of stuff. Could be true, could be not. But more importantly, head on over to thedorkening.com, where you can find about all the shows on our network. Tons of shows. Actually, I need to add a couple more to the website. Amalgamania joined the network as well. They just released their first episode. And tons of stuff, and yeah, you can find it all right there. And check out Echoes of Fear. Links in the show notes. We'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Smooth like
Hey,
butter.
this is awesome. Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody. Congrats on the movie.
Thank you.